Hi guys! Today we are going to be learning about copyright laws. My name is Shannon Deckert and I am your school librarian. As you can see from the picture, I love to read great stories and have fun in the library, but today I have a pretty important topic that I need to talk to you about. What is copyright? It refers to the legal rights of an original work. So think about if you created a beautiful piece of artwork. Would you want someone to use that without your permission? Would you want someone else to make money off of all of your hard work? Let's get into why we need copyright laws. These laws protect writers, artists, and media producers so they can receive compensation for their work. If someone is using their work without giving them the credit by citing or illegally using it, they lost out on money. It's so important that we support the arts and creativity. So that's why we need copyright laws. I know this next slide might seem a little bit scary, but it does really share the importance of copyright laws. The Copyright Act of 1976 gave us clear consequences for breaking the copyright laws. So, if you commit copyright infringement, you can be fined from $750 to $30,000. If you have willful intent to break the law of the Copyright Act, you could be charged up to $150,000. And if you willfully infringe upon copyright laws for private or commercial gain, you could be fined $250,000 or yes, even 5 years in prison. This is not meant to scare you, but be a warning for the severity of breaking copyright laws. I think that this could be the most important slide in this whole presentation. I want you to read, all information on the internet is copyrighted. Yes, all the information on the internet is copyrighted. So that includes articles, pictures, media, music, and more. So how can we, as educators and students, be able to use copyrighted materials? Fair use provides copyright exceptions for teachers and students. So, there are 4 different areas that you need to think about if you are using a copyrighted material. The first one is the purpose and character of the use. So, using a material for educational use is much more likely to be approved under fair use than using something for money or monetary gain. The second thing is the nature of the copyrighted work. So if this is something like a magazine or an article, this would more likely be approved instead of something like entertainment. So cartoons, movies, music are much less likely to be considered fair use. The next thing is the amount of work used. So if you use a smaller portion of a complete work, then it's more likely to fall under fair use. And the last one is the effect of the use on the market. So if it would cause negative effects on sales, then that would be going against fair use because we don't want creators and producers to lose money on their hard work. So some things might not fall under the fair use umbrella. So we might need to you are able to seek permission to have rights to copyrighted material. So there are 4 tips and tricks that you should use when seeking permission. So the first one is to be specific. So if it's a 100-page article and you just need to use a couple pages of that article, don't try to gain permission to the entire thing. Just give specific page numbers, send photocopies, or give the best description that you can of the information that you want. The next thing is that you can negotiate. So the cost of seeking copyright access can be negotiated, so it never hurts to ask. The next thing is that you need to communicate. So if you ask for rights to a document, picture, artwork, and you decide, you know what, I'm actually not going to use this, you need to let the publishers and producers know so that you don't get charged for something that you don't use. The next thing is to save all the information. So save records of your emails, save records of your payments, and save all the information so that you can be on top of your transaction. All right, so how long does a copyright term last? So what's the duration of a copyright? Sonny Bono, Copyright Term Extension Act of 1998 gave us a clear view of how long a copyright lasts. So if it's an individual author, the duration of the copyright lasts 70 years after the death of the author. If it is an author who has been hired by someone to create a work, then it lasts 100 years from the year of creation or 75 years from the date of the first publication, whichever one of those things comes first. All right, let's talk about changing formats. So you may not convert analog materials to digital formats. Copyright law protects the format in which the ideas are expressed. So, for example, you can't change a DVD to a digital file. That would be an infringement on copyright laws. And you may not take a printed journal and change it into a digital format. Here are some copyright concerns and surprises. So, in a world of YouTube and TikTok, I could see easily how you might break copyright concerns with audio if you do not have this information. So, audio can be used for academic uses, but not for performances. You also may copy less than 10% of a musical work. So say you have a 3-minute song, you can use 30 seconds of that song, but you can't use the song in its entirety. Another thing is you can take a copy of a student recording for performances, but only for the rehearsal or evaluation. So you can't record a whole play and give that information out without access to those copyright rules. The next thing is email. Yes, even email is copyrighted, so you cannot forward or copy an email without permission. The last thing is articles. So this is important for you to think about, that you are able, if you're giving a presentation on the solar system and you find an amazing article about the solar system that you think would benefit the students in your class listening to your presentation, you can download and copy and distribute that article for educational purposes only. But if you got that article from something like Scholastic, where a school district is paying for that, you cannot make copies of that information. It has to be an article that is not created for the educational market. So this is a great resource that I am constantly referring back to. This is the Copyright and Fair Use Guidelines for Teachers. It talks about the specific forms of media and how to comply with copyright laws and fair use. So let's practice utilizing this chart. It is hung up in the library for easy access. Say you are hoping to use a photograph. You find that under the medium, then you see what you can do, which says you can use a single picture as a whole, but cannot use 5 images from the same artist or photographer. This chart helps you easily access information on how to follow copyright laws and fair use. All right, here are my citations. As you can see, I've used APA format to cite the information that I use in the article. So, for example, you can see right here, this is me citing the information that's on the Copyright and Fair Use Guidelines. And also, if you take a look, it says this chart was designed to inform teachers of what they may do under the law. Feel free to make copies for teachers in your school or district, or download a PDF version, and it gives you a website. So, I am not breaking any copyright laws by sharing this information with you guys. This just shows you one way that copyright is important and we need to follow the rules. And here is my other citation that shows I used a textbook from Pearson Education to find the information in my presentation. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation about copyright rules. I hope that you have learned how to follow the laws and not break any rules when it comes to copyright. And I hope you've learned how to use fair use and what applies under the fair use umbrella.